Hello, witches. I am High Priestess or Symphonist. Thank you for popping on this live broadcast. Or if you are watching a replay of it, this broadcast is You Will Hear Silence in the Camp of Your Enemy. Today is January 7th in the year 2024. From this day going forward, you will hear silence in the camp of your enemy. Your enemy should have shut their mouth. Enemies should have shut their mouths. They should not have put their mouth on you. They should not have disrespected you, mistreated you, verbally abused you, teased you, made fun of you. Why? Because 2024 is the year of the witch. 2024 is the year of the witch. You will hear silence in the camp of your enemy. Whatever your enemy or enemies are planning and plotting and scheming will be dismantled by your chosen God or goddess or ancestor or familiar or spirit animal or any deity that you work alongside when performing witchcraft. They have talked enough. They have babbled and mumbled enough, and now they will be brought to silence. Anything your enemy or enemies try to plan or plot will be their own decided fate. Whatever your enemy or enemies are plotting against you will be their own decided fate, because they chose to put, they had the audacity, they had the balls, they had the titties to put their mouth on a witch. I said this hundreds of times now. Witches are powerhouses. Witches are powerhouses. This is not just me hyping witches up. It's the truth. Witches are powerhouses. Write that down in the comments and soak that up. Soak that up. 2024 is the year of the witch. You will hear silence in the camp of your enemy or enemies. Your enemies may be plotting right now. You may have gotten confirmation through a vision or dream, or your chosen God or goddess has told you that your enemy is plotting against you. Your chosen deity has given you details about what your enemy or enemies are planning against you. So you already have your enemy's playbook. They don't know that you have their playbook. They don't know. Why don't they know? Because they are so caught up in trying to get you to try to put you in the grave that they have dug for you. But they don't yet know, or they are ignoring this truth, that it will be them being put in the grave head first, necks broken, dead. I've seen Hecate just take people out of the earth. Just kill them. Yes, when I say kill, I mean buried, cremated, or their ashes thrown in the garbage, which is where they belong, in the garbage. Because they must be trash to try to go toe-to-toe with a witch. You don't go toe-to-toe with a witch and think you're going to just go merrily on your way. You are not. You are not. It's stupid to even have that thoughts in your head that you are going to continue to talk about witches, to verbally abuse witches, and think they're not going to have a backbone, to think that they are a spineless jellyfish, that they don't have a backbone. Witches just have that witches are just spineless. They're not. They're not. These are not the same witches from the Middle Ages. These are not the same witches. Listen very carefully to me. These are not the same witches from the Middle Ages. It's 2024. Today is January 7th, 2024. From this day going forward, you will hear silence in the camp of the enemy. Why? Because Hecate has shut their mouth for daring, for having the audacity, for having the balls, for having the titties to put their mouth on you. You know, I have never felt sorry for anyone that has been at the receiving end of a curse, because witches don't let that energy go so easily. It takes too much energy to curse someone, and witches do not let that type of energy go so quickly with no good reason. You have to have a good reason to curse someone, or the curse will not land. If you don't have a good reason to curse someone, that curse will not work or hit someone. So very quickly, let's go over what is the difference between a curse and a hit. A curse is somebody falling down the stairs and breaking their neck and dying. A hit is someone falling down the stairs, breaking their neck, and having to wear a cast. You see, one is more powerful than the other. One is worse than the other. You will hear silence in the camp of your enemies from this day forward towards the end of 2024. They may have talked about you. They may have lied on your name. They may have forged your name. They may have thrown dirt on your name to make you not be so appealing to someone, to make you intentionally look bad to someone. They may have closed doors. They may have opened doors to evil to infiltrate your life, and it will be their own decided fate. What they did to you as witches, let me say this before I continue on. As witches, we know how powerful words are. We know that words is energy. We know that we have to be careful what we say, because it can happen. Words are powerful. Words matter. And your enemies that have said all kinds of horrible, terrible things about you and still are even at this live stream, they don't realize that they have reaped a harvest for themselves for the rest of the year. And no witch is going to tell them, well, you know, you did this to yourself. The witch has tried everything to be civilized, to be nice, to be calm and collected. But there has been something in your life that an enemy has said to you, said about you, that has ruined a very important part of your life, your family, your finances, your reputation, and they think they are getting away with it. Until Hecate shuts them up. Until Hecate takes their voice away. Until Hecate silences them permanently. Just take them out of the earth. No, I'm not wishing death on anyone. This is how Hecate works. Hecate always protects her own. however the best way it is to protect you. You can't tell Hecate how to protect you, how to curse or hurt someone, or even how to bless you. She's going to do what's best for you and what's best for any situation that you are fighting in. You might feel like right now you are in a war with someone or a group of people that are mumbling. Most of them, let's be honest, can't even read. They read on a 5th grade level and they are 50, 60 years old. So what they're saying is not even educational. They're poorly educated. But yet, because they're speaking words are still powerful. Words still have energy. But that's okay though. That's okay though. Why is that okay? Because they have reaped the harvest for themselves. They have done this to themselves. This was not the act of a witch. This was called karma. It's called karma. You don't have to hurt a person by just touching them. You can hurt a person by opening up your mouth. I expect by the time we enter the season of Libra, because we know that Libra, we know that Libra represents justice. Libra has those scales, right? That's why a lot of Libras are judges and lawyers, and they're good at it. I expect by the time we enter the season of Libra on September 21st, your enemies are going to be silenced. They are going to have justice served ice cold. I expect this by the season of Libra. Why Libra? Because Libra represents justice. Libra has those scales to balance things out. And because September represents change. You see change with the weather, with the leaves changing colors. By the season of Libra in September, you will be alerted, and many of you would just need to hear this. You will be present. I mean, physically present. Physically present, not just in a dream or a vision. You will be physically present when justice is handed down to your enemy or enemies, and you will hear nothing else but silence. By the season of Libra, that's in September, it's going to happen. It has to happen. These are not the witches of the Middle Ages. It's 2024. And it's a long time coming. For many of you witches, it's a long time coming. Maybe it's been too long. It's for a lot of you witches, it's been too long for justice to be in your favor, for justice to go your way. Especially those witches that have been lied on. There's nothing worse than somebody lying on your name. Because it's hard to get back your reputation. It's hard to get back your life that was stolen from you by a couple of words from people who have a 3rd grade education, who mumble when they talk. You know, those kids that you went to school with, You know they can't read, and you like, why is the teacher keep calling on these kids who can't read? That's them. That's your enemies right there. That's them. That is them. But they don't know. They can't get it either. They don't know the might of your chosen God or goddess or Hikasi. They have no idea what dragon they woke it up. They have no idea that they should not poke the bear. They have no idea that they should not rattle the cage of a tiger or a lion. But they chose to. They chose to. This is not witches getting revenge or being vindictive. It's self-defense. It's self-defense. Oh, no, it's not. You should send love and light to your enemies. Your enemies don't need love. Your enemies don't need love. Why are you giving your enemies love? They don't give a shit about you. That's stupid. Oh, love your enemies. Fuck that shit. They don't love you. They don't. If they did, they would not be putting their mouth on you. They would not be jabbering and yapping and talking about you behind your back, having doors closed that you know is for you. That's why a lot of witches don't get real significant and permanently positive change through witchcraft, because they are being soft. They are being a punk when they need to have a backbone, not a wishbone, a backbone, and stand up for themselves. You know how many messages I get from witches who want a teaching on how to defend themselves? Because people just feel too comfortable saying any old thing to them and not checking them. Yeah, if somebody says something to you that is disrespectful, you need to check them right there and then. If somebody says something out of line to you, you have to check them right there and then, or they will continue to do it because you didn't do anything about it the first time. Witches, let me tell you the truth. Witches don't want to love everybody. We don't live in a fantasy land or a utopia where everybody gets along. That's not reality. It's not. We know that people can be born evil. Oh no, they can't. People can be born evil. They can. That's why I said in a broadcast a few months ago about, is it okay to curse children? Yes, it is okay to curse children. Go back and re-watch that broadcast. We don't want to love everybody because we know that's not the way of the world. That's what we know, that everybody who smiles in our face is not our friend. Just because somebody smiles in your face does not mean they are a friend. Don't fall for no smiles. Don't fall for no handshakes. And definitely don't let somebody hug up on you talking about, that's my sis, that's my bro, that's my cousin. I don't know those people. I don't know those people. You don't know those people. Stop labeling people so easily as your sis, your bro, your cousin, your poppy, your mommy, your auntie. They're not. They're not. We don't want to love everybody because that's not the way of the world. These people are not your friends. They're not. You know if somebody is a true blue friend when they have your back as much as you have their back. That means if I throw down, you throw down with me. If I get it on and popping, you get it on and popping too. You jump, I jump. That's a friendship. That's a cousin. That's a sis. That's a bro. That's a TT. That's a mommy. That's a poppy. That's an auntie. Can I keep it real with you? Can I keep it real with you? Too real, probably. The silence that you hear coming from the camp of your enemy will bring you inner peace. Finally, for some of you, which is inner peace, because you have been in this war with this person or persons for years, generations, or if you are over 100 years old watching this broadcast, a century. By the time we enter the season of Libra, the scales of justice will be in your favor, the favor of the witch. Why? Because 2024 is the year of the witch. It is. The Middle Ages are long gone. We are in the 21st century. And we're different. We're different. We're not like everybody else. We stand out from everybody else. And that mumbling and chatter is going to make lots of enemies have laryngitis. Lots of your enemies talking about you will have laryngitis. They will just completely lose their voice for no medical reason. They will have throat infections, bacteria in their throats, cancer in their throats, terminal cancer in their throats, meaning no more medical care for them. Their voice will simply be taken. The voice of your enemy or enemies, by the time we enter the season of Libra, will be taken. Will be taken. And where will that voice go? To the pit. That voice, their voices, will go to the pit. What the hell is the pit? Below. To the underworld. And they will not get it back. They will never speak of your name again. They will forbid anybody in their family from speaking your name again. Oh yes, it's going to travel through their bloodline, where nobody will ever speak your name in evil again, because they would fear just your name. They will be afraid of just your name, as they should. As they should. I want your enemies to be afraid of you. I want your enemies to be terrified of you. I want your enemies pissing their panties and pissing their drawers when they even think about you. I want them pissing. I want your enemies pissing. I want to see piss. I want to see piss. And there will be pissing. There will be pissing. There will be pissing. Why? All of that piss will be every single tear that you have shed because of the words they used to hurt you. Every single drop of piss will represent the tears that you cried when they use words to hurt you. Absolutely. Look, it's coming when we enter the season of Libra in September. Libra represents justice. That's why so many Libras are lawyers and judges, because they're good at it. Libras make good judges. Libras make good lawyers. Like Judge Judy. Judge Judy is a Libra. Did you know that? Did you know that Judge Judy is a Libra? She is. You don't even have to know that. You can just tell by how she acts that she's a Libra. You know, I always say about Libras and Scorpios, I'm a Scorpio, okay? I always say about Libras and Scorpios, Libras can be sarcastic. Scorpios, I'm a Scorpio, can be sarcastic to the point of being cruel. But of course, Libras and Scorpios are not the same thing, but they are both sarcastic. It's just that Scorpios can take it a little itty bitty too far. You know, I'm a Scorpio, so I come on strong. I come on passionate. I come on intense. Okay, so sometimes I have very strong opinions. I voice my opinion and I don't hold back. You know, I'm a Scorpio, so I tell it like it is. You ask me a question, I'm going to give you an answer. I'm not going to hold back to spare your feelings or to make the message softer or nicer. I'm just going to tell it like it is. But Scorpios are also very understanding. Libras may not be so understanding. Libras do tell the truth, but they try to figure out why it's true. Scorpios from birth already know the truth. Scorpios, I always say, are just born knowing things. They just in the know. You know, just know. But Libras, on the other hand, they need to know the reason behind the why. So those are some differences between Libras and Scorpios. But I'm talking about Libras right now. In the season of Libra, the scales of justice will swing in your favor. For some of you, which is finally in your favor. Finally, when it comes to an enemy that has been a chatterbox, that doesn't stop talking, that won't stop talking. I mean, how many times are you going to put that person in the freezer? How many times are you going to bury that person in a graveyard, in a jar? How many times are you going to drive nails into a puppet in their liking? How many times are you going to burn personal items or go through their garbage to find personal items to use in witchcraft? You won't have to do any of that. You won't have to do any of that. Hecate will. That's why I tell so many witches to unclench your fists. Remove the anger from your heart. Remove the rage from your heart. And let Hecate, the queen of witches, fight this battle, because she has not lost a battle yet. Hecate has not lost any battles ever. Because I have seen what happens to the proud when they take on the queen of witches. It's always devastating. It's always horrific. But it's also very enjoyable for the witch that is being allowed to see it all unfold. You know, Hecate will very often display justice to your enemy or enemies in front of you. You will be physically there. You will be there to see it. You might hear about it on the radio, or you might see it on the news or the newspaper, or you might see it on a tabloid such as the Shade Room or Hollywood Exposed, or on Instagram here. But you will be alerted. Hecate will bring it to your attention. Hecate very often will make sure that you are in the place where it happens so you can see it with your own eyes. When I say your own eyes, I'm talking about these eyes. I'm not talking about your third eye or inner vision. I'm talking about these two eyes, the one right here in front of your face. Physically. So that you know that it's real. Even though if she was to show you in a vision or dream, it would still be real. But there's nothing like seeing it physically with the two eyes in your head. She will. By the time we enter the season of Libra, you will hear silence in the camp of your enemy or enemies. Their voice will be taken. They will have no voice. There is no more time. Let me say this. There is no more time for them to relent. They had all the time in the world in 2023 and years previously to relent their stronghold on you. They had plenty of time and they chose not to do it. That is over. They ran out of time. There is no second chance. They were never going to be given a second chance anyway. Hecate does not give second chances. Did you know that? Did you know that Hecate does not give second chances? She'll give your enemy just one chance. Just one chance to get it together. And if they blow it, or if they laugh it off, or if they scoff at it or make fun of it, it's by the time we enter Libra season, it's not going to be funny anymore. Well, it's not going to be funny for them. It'll be funny for you and I. Because finally, they're getting what they deserve. Nobody escapes a traditional experience with the Queen of Witches. Nobody escapes a traditional experience with the Queen of Witches. Not one soul. You know, your enemies always think they will get away with it, whatever it is, until they don't. Your enemies always think they will get away with it until they don't. that crying and carrying on and begging and pleading will not work. Their time is up. They had 12 months to relent, to back off, to back down, to back away. And they didn't. So now they have to sit at a banquet of consequences served by Hecate, ice cold. And if they refuse to eat, guess what, witches? If they refuse to eat the banquet of consequences that is due to them, Hecate will shove it down their throats. That sounds pretty cruel, but that's the way of the Queen of Witches when it comes to protecting witches. If they don't eat the banquet of consequences that's being served to them, Hecate will shove it down their throats. In any case, they're going to eat it. They're going to eat it. And it will be ice cold. It might be ice cubes. Anything they can't swallow, but will be forced to swallow. Ice cubes. Cinder blocks. Anything they have given you, they will be forced to eat. Or Hecate will shove it down their throats. She will make them open up their mouth and shove it down their throats. While you are at the end of that table, at the end of that banquet, eating a hot meal and enjoying the show, as you should be, as you will be. Because nobody escapes a traditional experience with the Queen of Witches, Hecate, not one soul. You will hear silence in the camp of your enemy from this day, January 7th, coming to a climax when we enter Libra season. Their voice will be taken away by any means necessary to silence them. And like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, I have seen Hecate just take people out of the earth, just kill them, cremated, buried. So what? They were dying anyway. That's not cruel to say. It's not cruel to say here live. That's how Hecate protects her own. Hecate is serious about you. Which is, listen to me, Hecate is serious about you. She cares and loves you. She cares and loves your bloodline. She cares and loves your generation. Hecate takes us seriously. When you think of Hecate, you probably think of a torch. Hecate will light a torch at your feet and direct your steps, like the path you are to go down. She will. Hecate is serious about witches. Hecate is serious about witches. Most people don't even believe that witches exist. A lot of people still think of witches as characters from a fairy tale, like Hansel and Gretel. This is not Disney. It's not. This is real life. This is real life. I know some people say all kinds of things about witches, how evil we are. Okay, that's your opinion. I'm not saying that There are not witches who just do curses. Of course, there are witches who do nothing else but curses. Just like there are witches who do nothing else but money spells, love spells, sex spells, spells to make you famous, to make you a millionaire, to make you a billionaire, to make you a great singer, to make you a great artist. Yeah, those witches exist. They do. But when it comes to Hecate in particular, she is serious about witches. She is serious about your safety. When you put a witch, let me tell you something. When you put a witch in jeopardy because of your words, because of what you speak, yeah, it's going to go down, way down, and your enemy will not get up. There will be no getting up. There will be no crawling away. They can cry and beg and plead, but they had their chance in 2023 to get it together, and they were too fucking stupid to do it. By the time we enter Libra season in September, you will hear silence in the camp of your enemies. They should have shut their mouth. They should have shut their mouth. I mean, you can only tell someone to be quiet so many times, to stop verbally abusing you, to stop hurting your reputation, to stop lying on you, to stop putting their mouth on you until you can't take it anymore. But why this year? Why 2024? Why is this happening now? Why is justice coming in the direction of witches in a good way? Because Hecate has simply had enough of your enemies. That's why. I'm sure you have heard Hecate. It's not just me. I'm sure that you too have heard Hecate say, this is it. 2024 is it. I'm sure you have heard Hecate say, this year is a leap year. Okay, 2024 is a leap year. I hear Hecate saying, you will leap over every enemy, seen and unseen. And those enemies, because it is a leap year, will leap into the pit they have dug for you. And you will be the witch to throw dirt on them. And Hecate will be the one to seal the nails in their coffin. It's a leap year. 2024 is a leap year. Check your calendar. It's a leap year. And I know Hecate is going to put on a show for you to enjoy. It'll be better than any pay-per-view you have ever sat through. It will be better than any Beyonce, Michael Jackson concert you have ever been to. Yeah, I said it. Oh yes, it's going to be better than Beyonce's concert. It's going to be better than a Michael Jackson's concert. Oh yes, it is. Hecate does big things. She does big things. That's why I tell witches, when you are asking Hecate for stuff, ask big. Don't ask small. When asking Hecate for something, ask for big. But keep in mind though, that when you ask Hecate for big, you have to take big real world action so that Hecate can also add her strength to your own. Hecate does not do things small. It will be a concert just for you. You will be the only audience member. You will be the only audience member. Front row. Front row. And the curtain will only be closed. Not when the fat lady sings, but when Hecate throws down the gavel in the season of Libra, because Libras represent justice, Libras represent the scales, and Libras also represent a judge's gavel. You will have front row seats. It will just be you. It will not be anybody else. It will not be any member of a coven that you happen to be on. It's just for you. It's just for you. You will have the whole auditorium for yourself. And it's going to be luxurious. Nice, velvety seats, comfortable. There will be a buffet of your favorite foods. It will be just for you. Because Hecate protects her own. Your enemies think they're getting away with this and that until they don't anymore. How do you think you can mistreat witches and then just go on your merry way? How does that work? It doesn't work. That's stupid. It doesn't work that way. I have never met someone who has mistreated a witch and been okay. They're not okay. They're not okay. They're not okay. They would think it would be nice if they were, but they're not. They're not. Expect it to happen by the time we enter Libra. Libra represents justice. Libra represents justice. It will only happen between September 21st to October 22nd. Why? Because Scorpio season starts October 23rd to November 21st. So it has to be in the season of Libra. So what are you to do in the meantime? What the hell do you do in the meantime? You unclench your fists. You remove the anger from your heart. And let Hecate fight this battle. That is what you are to do in the meantime. Unclench your fists. Remove the anger and hatred from your heart and let Hecate fight this battle, because she has not lost a battle yet. She can't. She can't. It doesn't matter who the person is. It doesn't matter who they think they are. It doesn't matter who is, who has their back. It doesn't matter. Oh, I'm from, don't play with me. I'm from the Bronx. Oh, don't play with me. I'm from Brooklyn. It doesn't matter where you're from. Hecate can find you easily. Any god or goddess, not just Hecate, any god or goddess or deity that you work alongside can find your enemy. Just give them the address. How do you find your enemy's address? Well, you can't just go to the DMV, but you can go online. Do a little bit detective work. Hire a private detective. Or you don't even need that. Just have the person's name. Describe the person in great detail. Describe the person in great detail. Write down their first or last name or both. and give it to your chosen god or goddess or deity or ancestor or spirit animal or familiar, so they can get to work to protecting your good name, to restoring your good name, and to silencing your enemies by taking their voice. Expect it when we enter the season of Libra. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. This abuse, this mistreatment will not go on long. I know September seems like a long way to go. Yeah, because it's January 7th. September is what? 8 months away? Yeah, so September is 8 months away. That seems like a long time. But you are to keep yourself occupied with doing real world actions to make your spells and rituals work. And let your chosen god or goddess or Hecate handle your enemies. They're more powerful than you and I. It's too hard to try to take them out yourself. Put them in front of a powerhouse like your chosen god or goddess. You don't have to work with Hecate for this to happen. It will happen no matter what god or goddess you choose. You will hear silence in the camp of your enemy when we enter the season of Libra. So they can talk, they can chatter, they can yap, they can mumble. It will have no effect on you. They had their chance back in 2023 to get it together, and they didn't. They didn't. So now Hecate, if you're a devotee of Hecate, is fed up with them. She's had enough. It's been enough. It's just that it had to happen in a leap year. For this to happen, it had to be a leap year so that you can leap over what your enemies has plotted. Hecate will send confusion in the camp of your enemy. Even now it's happening. Even right now there is confusion in the camp of your enemies. They don't have enough time to scheme and plot. Something always comes up. Something always disturbs it. They can't get the words out because they're starting to lose their voice. They are becoming silenced. And like I said a few moments ago, many of them will develop throat cancer, laryngitis, or just stop talking, become a fucking mute. Yes. When we enter the season of Libra, a fucking mute. Not talking anymore. Oh, this person used to be a chatterbox. This person never shut up. And then one day, they just stopped talking. I don't know what happened to them. Hecate is what happened to them. Rightfully so. They can't even communicate anymore as to why they can't talk. They can't even communicate as to why their voice is gone. They can't even communicate as to why a machine is keeping them alive. Because they have throat cancer. For putting their mouth on you. For lying on you. Because Hecate takes witches seriously. Witches, hear me on to today. Hecate takes witches seriously. She is not a jokester. She does not pull pranks. Hecate does not work in mysterious ways. She don't do that bum ass shit. She don't. Hecate is straightforward, like an arrow. Like an arrow. And she will lead you to all truth. All truth. Your enemies think that nothing will ever happen to them. They think they are untouchable. But they can be touched. And they will be touched by the time we enter the season of Libra. It's not going to be funny. Well, not funny for them. It'll be a riot for you. It'll be a riot for you. It'll be the best laugh you had in years. It will be the best laugh you had in years. You mean you will be crying tears of laughter. And no, it's not wrong to laugh at somebody else's misfortune. No, it's not. Who lied to you and told you it was wrong to laugh at somebody else's misfortune? No, it's not. If they deserve it, yeah, go ahead and laugh it up. Because it is funny. That's why. It's funny. It's funny. So expect it. Expect it. 2024 is a leap year. 2024 is a leap year. It's a leap year. You will leap over every single grave, every single pit that was dug for you. And enemies who have talked about you, talked crazy to you, to your face, had the audacity, had the balls, had the titties, yes, the titties, to talk about you like a dog in the street. They will have a traditional experience with the Queen of Witches when we enter the season of Libra. I know September is a long way from now. Your job is to continue to do real world action after every single spell and ritual, to learn more about your craft, to develop your powers, because witches are powerhouses. Get that in your system. Get that in your system. Witches are powerhouses. We are no shrinking violet. No scared little girls or scared little boys, because men can be witches too. We're not. We're not afraid of anybody or anything, because we are under the covering of our chosen, in my case, Hecate, your chosen god or goddess. And if you work with your ancestors beyond the grave, they still care about you. They still work alongside you. And please change the spirit bowl. Put new water into it. Change the spirit plate. Put new food on it. What do you do with the old food and the water? Just pour it out on the street. I would take it to a park or to a forest and then dump it, because it is winter now, so it's harder for animals to find food, and they can eat that stuff. The ducks can swim in that spirit water. And it's also a way to give back to nature, because witches work with the energy found in nature to bring about real significant and permanently positive change, to no longer go through life the hard way, to no longer have life, be hard. Because life is not hard. Life is not hard. Life is what you make it. Why? Because it's your life. Your life is your life. All of it. Your life is entirely your own. Your life does not belong to anybody else but you and who you choose to share it with. Expect this as we slowly but surely enter the season of Libra, to hear silence in the camp of your enemies, to be notified, to put on notice that your enemies have lost their voice, that their words may have had impact on you, may have touched you even, but it wasn't for the long run. Their word curses that they spoke over you or spoke against you was not long lasting. It was not a permanent thing. And most of the time, they were mumbling anyway. They can't even speak proper English or no English at all. Can I keep it real with you? If you can't say or spell a certain word, find a different word that means the same thing and you can spell it and pronounce it if you really want your words to be powerful. So I don't say certain words because I can't pronounce it. Like, I can't say Pacific, sophistic. It's so funny. I can't even say that word. Get sophistic. I can't say that word, so I don't say it. I say something else that means the same thing. So many of your enemies right now are just mumbling because they're so far gone, they can't even think far enough to think of a word that means the same thing that they can actually pronounce. So they're mumbling words of evil towards you, don't have a big impact on you because they are not pronouncing the words correctly. For your words to be powerful as a witch when doing witchcraft, you have to be able to pronounce the words. So that's why I encourage witches to work alongside a dictionary or that other book, a thesaurus. It sounds like a dinosaur. I'm sorry. This is why I encourage witches to work with a dictionary or a thesaurus. Look, it's a book that sounds like the name of a dinosaur, and it has words, but there's different ways to say that word, but it means the same thing. I can't pronounce it right without laughing. I'm pretty sure it's called a thesaurus. It's funny. Look, it's funny. It's funny, right? That's why I encourage witches and I tell witches, you have to actually be able to pronounce the words that you put into a spell, ritual, hex, or curse. If you can't spell it or pronounce it, it has no power. So a lot of your enemies who are speaking out against you, they can't even pronounce the words. And they're too slow to pick up a thesaurus or a dictionary to find a word they can actually pronounce that means the same thing, therefore would have a big impact. They're too far gone, they're too slow. Honestly, they're just too damn dumb. So their words may have had a little itty bitty tiny pick on you, but you brush your shoulder off, okay? Just brush your shoulder off. But they are in for a terrible surprise when we enter the season of Libra. Listen, witches, I know what you're saying. I know September is a long way from now. But you will be pleasantly surprised how fast we enter September. One day, you're going to wake up and it's the season of Libra. And then you're going to be shown exactly the might, the power of either Hecate or your own, listen, which is your own chosen god or goddess. And let me just say this also, Elizabeth. You can work with a different god or goddess, and Hecate will not hold it against you. She is not a jealous god. She does not say you can't have no other gods or goddesses before me. She's not Jesus, okay? She's not a jealous 16-year-old girl. She's a grown woman. Hecate is the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Hecate is the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And sometimes you call her the dark mother. Oh, she's going to be very dark when we enter the season of Libra. What does that mean? That means she's going to become cruel, heartless, angry, full of hatred for your enemies and how they have treated you with just their words, with their mumbling. I don't like this girl. I don't like this guy. I wish this guy would just go away. Nobody escapes a traditional experience with the Queen of Witches. When we enter the season of Libra, you will hear silence in the camp of your enemies. They will lose their voice. Don't get caught up on how far September is. Before you know it, it will be September. And you will see the scales of justice that Libra represents swing for some of you witches finally in your favor. And it will be glorious. It will be glorious. And I will be awaiting your emails, your comments, your messages on how it all went down. I want to know everything. But it will be an audience just for you. It will just be shown to you because it's about you. Hecate is serious about witches. She does not play. Your enemies in 2023 had their chance to get it all the way together, and they basically spat in your face. Oh, okay. No problem. Because Hecate will set up a banquet of consequences for them to eat. And if they refuse to eat, Hecate will shove it down their throats. She will force them to eat it. And if they choke while being forced to eat, too bad. But they will swallow. That throat will be opened up. and it'll be forced down where the fuck it goes, in the throat, in the stomach, whatever. You're gonna get it ice cold. This is not witches wishing death on people. This is justice according to witches. Witches don't think of justice. Witches don't see justice the same as the rest of the world. We don't. Justice for witches is vastly different than the world outside of being a witch, because nobody escapes a traditional experience with the one true goddess, Hecate, the queen of witches. Alright, I think I said everything I needed to tonight. We've been on for maybe a little bit over an hour, but I had to hop on here and tell you, witches, that the people that have badmouth you and verbally abuse you, they sealed their fate on December 31st, 2023, on the last day, to back off, to back down, to back away, and refuse. And they will have a traditional experience when we enter the season of Libra in September. So thank you, witches, for joining me for this quick pop-up broadcast. I will leave this up for the replay. If you missed it, I will also upload it on my other social media platforms. Be sure to share this broadcast in your story and tell a couple witches, maybe tell a couple hundreds of witches, that there is a high priestess here in New York who is anointed and appointed by the Queen of Witches to spread her messages to the witches who have ears to hear, especially about their enemies experiencing a traditional experience with the Queen of Witches when we enter the season of Libra in September. I'm telling you, witches, before you know it, it will be September. You will hear of enemies being silenced, not talking, their voice being taken. It will happen. And you will come back to this live broadcast and you will rewatch it happily, and you will rejoice that Hecate is a good goddess who takes witches seriously, that loves and cares about witches. She is the dark mother, but she is a mother. Hecate is a mother to the motherless. If you have lost your mother, if your mother is a piece of trash, if you feel like you are failing as a mother, Hecate can be that parent. She can be that parent. All you have to do is ask. Or not. Hecate is not going to hold it against you. She is not a jealous goddess. So thank you, witches, once again for joining me for this live broadcast. And I now release you into the rest of your evening. Thank you for joining me, and I'll talk to you, witches, next time. Bye, everyone.